Welcome to Overwatch. Welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today, we're looking at something different. It's been a long time since I've actually done console. Unbelievably. We actually have some console gameplay. Look at this. Look at this symbol. What's this symbol? What the hell is this? This is a square. I know, it's shocking. Oh yeah, console footage. It's been a long time. I will say it. First and foremost, I do not know the console meta. I just don't know. But luckily it's Zenyatta, and I know Zenyatta. I know Zenyatta very well. The one thing I will say is I've heard, like, I don't know if this is still true, but I've heard that Pharmacy was always really good on console. It doesn't surprise me because the counters to her are generally hit scan. Widowmaker is somewhat surprising to see. Console meta is Farah? Hey. Is Torb still good? I imagine Torb is incredible on console. Didn't they have to nerf Torb and Sim specifically on consoles? Like, that's one of the few differences. Oh, otherwise mostly it's parity.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attack commence.
Okay. Said I always do this, so let's do this. So, first question we always ask is, how does our team win? First and foremost, first thing I notice is, what the hell is this? We have a triple stack with 2 people playing main tank. Why? Who knows? We've got a Pharmacy duo, which is actually kind of always nice to see. And we have a Widow. Okay, how does our team win? What is our win condition here? Well, Pharmacy just, like, blows people up. Reinhardt somehow gets into people. And, like, we can kind of grind people out. This is an odd mix, but hey. I'd say as Zenyatta, I would just mostly stay behind the Orisa and Reinhardt in this one. Like, my question usually as well when I'm playing Zen is, like, how do I stay safe? And, well, you got 2 big beefy main tanks to hang around. I would hang around them. So far, so good. Only thing I'd say, like, at this moment, this precise moment here, is just to get used to and get into the habit of just, like, holding right click as you go around corners. Really minor thing, but I found it often pays dividends. When you can turn a corner and just, like, slap people in the head, it's always a good feeling. Seen a Roadhog and a Diva. Got a Discord out nice and quickly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Perfect. Be very careful doing that. Okay. This is a point where people die a lot, and main tanks are furious about this. This is when, like, when you're playing support, it feels kind of fine to do this. Which is like this push forward to, like, oh, I need to be able to see what I'm shooting at, so I'm going to run forward. If this Ryan takes a step back, and you take 1 step forward, you could be dead here. You just die. Because the Roadhog's shooting into it, the Junkrat's shooting into it, you die. There is honestly no reason for you to do this. And because you're playing Zen, there's even less reason for you to do this, because you get these helpful UI indicators of, like, hey, there's a dude back here. I know where this guy is. So what I find helps, and, you know, these are frustrating moments because, like, you can't see anything. You can't see anything. You can't see shit, son. Just basically, yeah, use the Discord orbs to find it. Hello, the Arcalypse. There we go. That's how we say that. Crosshair placement on corners. It's actually not a bad point. Like, it's very, very minor on this first corner. It's not too worrying. The consoles, I imagine this is even more important. Like, I imagine the expectation is just not to see anyone. I'd say break yourself with that expectation is the first big thing. There are a lot of players that like to, on Numbani, take a couple of pot shots as people come up these stairs. Okay? So just generally be ready for it. I'm fine with just the instant Discord. Like, as long as we get that Discord out, it's not too bad. Where's the crosshair going on this one? It's not too bad. Like, in general, like, the thing is, I have to be kind of forgiving here because you can't do the kind of smooth alterations I can do with a mouse. In general, yeah, you just want it to be at about head height, which we kind of are at overall. A couple of orbs end up going into the wall, but I imagine that's just fun, like, natural part of playing on console. I'm kind of fine with us just shelling damage out here. The only thing is, yeah, this movement here, just break that habit. The moment this barrier goes as well, back out. Like, the moment the Reinhardt goes, yep, fuck this, I'm out, you have to back out as well. And the reason I say that is because the amount of times, again, like, Roadhog is spamming in here, Junkrat spamming here, if they had a Hanzo, he'd be spamming in here. The amount of times you will just catch damage, and because you are a Zen, you will die. You will die. And it'll feel like bullshit, like especially with Moira orbs as well. Oh god, you're going to take like 40, 50 damage from this. They spam in here a bit, you just die here, the push is over. They win. Okay, hey, free diva, nice. And it looks like, hey, the Pharah's doing it. See what I mean by like how fast you can die here? Okay. That's very weird. Hopefully people pay attention to that. Oh. No way! No way! Oh, I would be furious. I would be so furious at your team. Like, you got 4 people stood here. The moment this Roadhog hooks you, and you're dead. Like, you are done. Everybody else should be turning around. That was not a quiet thing that happened. They said everybody just dies to the Roadhog. What the hell? Team, what the? Report all these people for being bad. Don't report people for being bad. You can't. Being bad is not a reason to report people. What should have happened there is you die, and then your team kills the Roadhog, and then you take the point, because Pharah's killed everybody. Good. Okay. This is a bugbear of mine on Numbani. This is a real bugbear of mine on Numbani. The amount of players, especially supports, especially Zenyatas, that just like roll out and they just run straight through here. Don't do this. Don't do this. The enemy can see you from about here. Right? Maybe that line's a bit too far. From about here, the enemy can kind of see you. And, you know, if they have anything that can pick you off, they will go for it. And the amount of, like, it's just very frustrating in a game when someone just runs this way and dies coming out of spawn, because that slows you down even further. There's no reason not to just come, like, around the bus to where we end up going. Thank you for doing this. Thank you so much for doing this. It's so much safer. Look how safe we are. And we can do things from here. You can't do things when you stood here, right? This is what annoys me. You can't do things when you stood down here, right? I know chat's in the way, but it's fine. Chat's making enough room for you. You can't do things when you stood here. When we're stood here, oh, look, well, someone's peeking out here. We can see someone here. We see people here. We can heal all these people. And we can influence things. We can stand here. We can do shit. Explainer team chat. I've seen his voice pop up above every so often. He did seem to be saying something after the Roadhog killed him. Get that Discord orb on. Nice.
Heroes never die.
Oh, I love it. Perfect.
Heroes never die.
Don't like how far forward we are here.
Heroes never die.
The big thing, like, maybe this is a difference. Okay, we do kind of get pushed this way, but even then, I'd say, like, we're kind of okay being here. And I know this is a pixelated mess, but hey. I know we're worried about this Mercy getting the res. I know that's scary, but we should respect the enemy team's DPS. Right? There's something up here. I think that's our Widow, maybe. Is that even a person? No, that's just a stick. Ignore me. But we should respect their DPS. Like, they have a Junkrat rolling around somewhere. Be very, very careful of, like, being on the front lines as Zen. Very quickly, especially as you get to higher ranks, people will capitalize on that instantly. But as a stick, yeah, I mean, it looks like Widow, right? It looks like a Widow, like, angling to fire on us. Like, this, I mean, like I mentioned it during the Junkrat one, but, you know, checking locations where your eyes go is kind of an important thing. And where my eyes go is I always do, like, a quick sweep up here, and, like, I spotted that, right? And it says a lot that, like, I spotted that and I was like, that's a threat. Because, again, as Zen, you learn very quickly that, yeah, you can kill people. Yeah, like, Zen is really good at killing people. Zen's really formidable. But when you hit a certain point, the Widows will be able to get you. And so, like, my eyes scan this of, like, okay, we want to shoot this, shoot this, shoot this, shoot this. Scan, oh, shit, that's a threat. And then later, when you're in the actual game, you go, oh, wait, no, that's a stick, it's fine. But I'd say play more from here, it's okay. And then maybe just, like, peek this corner. Definitely don't come all the way down here. This is just suicide to me. This is scary. No team chat. There is voice chat, isn't there? It looks like your DPS is cleaning up, which is always nice. DPS doing their jobs. It's unbelievable. Well, Transcendence, I'd like to see us... Usually I like to use these moments where we can check. Ooh. It's very pixely, but we can still kind of make out what's going on. I'd like to check what the enemy team's got, like especially if we haven't had a chance to do this yet. We kind of like seen bits and pieces of the team, but we haven't had a good chance to like take stock. Ashe is one of the DPS, so Ashe Junkrat. I can't actually even make out who that is. Maybe we can on the next flicker. Oh. Is that a McCree? Might be a McCree. It looks like a McCree who's dead. So they have no main tank. That's great for us. Ashe is a little bit scary, especially when paired with a Mercy. It's going to be a lot of spam damage.
No one can hide from my sight.
Ashe, Lil. Yeah, don't. If I had to give you one word of advice, don't pick Ashe. Well, there's a Moira behind us. Ah. Yes! Beautiful. I love it. Get an orb on that lad. Good man. Okay, something here. I notice a lot of Zens do this. Because you see pro Zens do this all the time. What do Widow just use walls? I imagine she wants to push forward and wants to get a couple of picks. And she got one. it worked out. Like, Widows can do this, and honestly, yeah, because she spotted people near, she's shooting people near. That's great. So a lot of Zens do this, because you see pros do this, and like, this is good Zen behavior in theory, but there's one aspect of it missing that's annoying me. So when we are taking these shots, you do the right click, you peek, you fire, okay? And I've talked about this when playing Zen, but let's talk about this in coaching the many as well. I'm going to get a nice thick brush. Good thick brush. There we go. And then I'm going to make blue our Zen. And what we should be doing is charging our right click. Let's not use blue, actually. Let's use yellow. Charging our right click when we're here, coming out, and the moment we peek around, right click and we do damage, and then we're back in and safe. Okay? And this is a simple pattern. But there's one step that a lot of Zenyatas miss, which is when you come back in, you reload, and then right click and do this again. The thing to avoid here is this urge to do this, where you charge, you fire shots, you charge, you fire a shot, you charge, you fire a shot, and if we need to react to anything now, we have no ammo. And for no reason we have no ammo as well. We have plenty of time to reload here. There's no reason why we can't take reloads here. Break the habit of like having to like not reloading between these shots. Just fire the shot, reload, fire the shot, reload, fire the shot, reload. Also, don't be afraid, especially when there is a tank in front of you, when there is a barrier around, to take a quick peek out, discord something, and then back away, charge, come out, shoot the discorded thing. Just as like a way of making your life a little bit easier. Because it's a research. Okay, this is like a behavior thing. So Arisa's barrier is up. Its barrier is up. Barrier is up. Barrier is up. Barrier is down. There is no barrier in front of you at this second. That scares me. When I see this in a game, my instant reaction will be to reposition behind the payload. As weird as this sounds. Because I don't want like the Ashe or the Widow or like, if they swapped a Widow all of a sudden to blow my head off. I am very conscious of the fact, and this is something that I think every Zenyatta has to learn through trial, error, and brute goddamn force. Which is this. This is important. This is probably the best ultimate in the game. Right? If you die and you have this, your team will freaking hate you. And if you die consistently when you have this, it is a massive alarm bell that you do not know what you're doing as Zen. The way you keep this is you just play safe. Right? As long as you have this up, your team is protected from almost every single engagement. There are very, very few things that can actually beat this. So if you die, yeah, your team is now in a losing position. Your team is in a winning position at the moment, and you want to keep that winning position. And sure, you firing a right click and nailing someone in the head will get you maybe like an advantage, but that advantage is so outweighed by, oh, well, you have trance. So it becomes a matter of like, I have trance, I need to survive, I should take safe options. So yeah, I'm actually super glad to see us drop down here. I'm super frustrated seeing us like going in front of the barrier here. This is just a good way for us to die. And I know we want the Mercy, but honestly, like anything that can get us killed, we want to respect. Unfortunately, our team are also idiots. They all like split, ran forward, and just got nailed by the hit scan. If you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Good. Do not ult. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to make sure we didn't ult. By the way, this is when I don't know what button it is on console, but on PC it's Z. And it's a button that makes you go, oh, I have France. Maybe we're saying it, like we are talking in voice chat. Maybe we're saying it, but there is a button that goes, my ultimate is ready. I like to press that a couple of times when like leaving a spawn and grouping up. And like, you know, my ultimate is ready, group up is usually what I'll say using the voice commands. Oh, shoot the shit out of this. This is a free diva. What the hell is she doing? Lol. Question mark? Nice, good. Looking after our other support. Get your barrier right. Oh. Well, back out. I can't really say too much about the aim because I don't know how it is on console. Just when there is a Rhine barrier in front of you, take your time, line up the shots. You know, there's no need to panic. And yeah, trying to hit mercies in the air is always going to be difficult. This is bold. I just back out. Just back out. You aren't going to win this fight. Hopefully the pharmacy swaps at this point. Like, their team is so anti-pharmacy that it hurts.
A temporary setback.
I'm impressed how your team has double barrier, which will actually be pretty good against this team. Maybe spot the Widow. Test the Widow. This is bold, but might actually work. That was quite funny. Okay. I like how we took the long way around. 360 no scope! I think this is a bold transcendence. It might just work because, like, your team actually gets 2 kills. And the team is so split that, like, leveraging this might not be a terrible idea. I don't like this indecision here. But if we can get in, I think our reaction here should have been to run and not to fight. Fighting D.Va, you can chunk D.Va, and generally what I find is you will get her down to about 10%. Like in my experience, I get her down to about 10%, and then she kills me. You might just be able to demech her if you get all headshots, but it's very difficult to do. You can get a lot of ult charge out of this, but my instinct would have been just to run for the hills. I do love the full like 180, or like the 270 almost. It's kind of funny to me because if this team just played together and like you had like a McCree instead of the Pharah, you'd probably just win. Triple hit scan will not do well against double barrier. I think Zen got booped away from the stairs by D.Va. It's kind of just a lose-lose at that moment anyway. Oh look, the team's playing together. Weird, okay, weird moment here. I'm fine with you throwing the orb on the Tracer here, but I would instantly move that orb to this Reinhardt. There will be no delay in, yeah, we kind of get it pretty quickly. But I would literally just like mash the button here to transfer it. It'll probably end up stuck on the Orisa for like a split second, but then it will go to the Reinhardt. The way that Zen orbs target is generally like, once someone has an orb on them, they are no longer eligible, so like the target will switch to the next guy. And there's a weird psychological thing that will happen as well by putting the orb on the Tracer. Tracer comes out and says, I need healing. You put an orb on her for a split second, and then you put it on the Reinhardt who's actively taking damage, because, like, we need to save that guy. The Tracer isn't in danger anymore. She should not die. Nothing should kill her. This guy can die. So we want to mitigate some of this damage he's taking by putting an orb on him ASAP. So I would just, like, hit the orb button twice here, and that should get on the Reinhardt. But we get it on him. And by putting the orb on the Tracer for a split second, it kind of says to the Tracer, it's okay, I've seen you, I'll get to you in a fucking minute. If you just walk past there, what tends to happen, and you put the orb on the Reinhardt, what tends to happen is the Tracer goes, oh my god, Zen, I'm right next to you, why aren't you healing me, Zen, oh my god, what the fuck? And that's a pain. That's a pain. Don't be that guy if you are DPS. We need to reload there. Yeah, we did. Okay. At this point, we're gonna die. Just shoot things. If you are a Zen main or a Zen player, I very much recommend watching Zenyatta's in Overwatch League and just going into first person. Either use the Overwatch League viewer and do it from there, or you can do it from the command center. The Zenyatas, they spend almost all of their time trying to squeeze damage out, but they do it safely. Right, they're in Overwatch League, they're playing safe. I don't know what we're looking for. I guess we're looking for the Widow. Here's a small tip. Widow has directional audio. She's over that way. She's miles away. And like these guys would be getting shot. So I appreciate the caution here, but their team isn't really the kind to flank, right? It's Widow, Ashe, McCree. They're going to be in front of you. We could have been doing things at this point.
60 seconds remaining.
If you're actively firing, don't right click, you nerf your DPS. Man's not wrong. Oh, it's not that much, I believe, is it? I actually want to see now how much we... Yeah, we're just doing left clicks. Okay, I see. There are moments when right click will actually work, and the argument I will make towards right click is when you're shooting into something like a 200 hit point hero and they have very quick healing. I like to use right click to overwhelm, and like people with like safety abilities. Charging a quick right click and just dinking them all will get a lot done. Oh wait, we can hear something. What do you hear? What do your elf ears hear? I'm going to turn it up in my ears. I'm going to turn it up in you guys' ears too. This definitely is, yeah. No, actually, okay. I take it all back. I get what you are listening for. I actually get what you are listening for. Because I heard it too.
60 seconds remaining.
I'm guessing it was the Lucio?
Someone help me move this.
Good effort. I imagine that's a very difficult fight on console. Also, hello, C7 off-colored. I believe C7 is in Canada at the moment.
30 seconds remaining.
Nice, get that orb out nice and quickly. As weird as it sounds, as absolutely weird as it sounds, I would not begrudge you for trancing at this specific second. The reason why is, especially when like this kill comes through, I would probably hit trance now. Because if you lose this fight, you lose the game. Everybody is yellow, or most people are yellow, and you can probably save this Orisa. Turns out you probably couldn't, but...
Experience festivity.
You fine with that?
10 seconds remaining.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Nice, okay. Okay. There's only one or two things I can comment on with this. First is I'd say, like, 10 seconds remaining, actually. I'm fine with that. The only thing I would say, and this might be again more of a PC thing, I don't know how quickly you can do this on console, but the moment I hear a Pharah ult, I always turn, look at them, and put the orb on them. Because you can guarantee everybody is going to be looking at that Pharah and shooting that Pharah. I think peeking Bob is a bit bold here. Once this barrier goes up, then it's fine. Bob is terrible against barriers, so... You just dink him in the face. This is good for us. This is fine. Don't give a shit. You got the payload in anyway. Miss you chatting, Josh. Miss you too, off-colored. It's good to see you again. This is bold. This is... Ooh. What are we doing out here? This is not a good place for us. This is a wild Zenyatta. He's just gone off the chain. How have we ended up doing this? Like, this is a moment where we just put the orb on someone. Okay, we'll even spawn. Everything's going fucking crazy. What do we do? Not a bad idea, honestly, is to just put an orb on the Primal Raging Winston. I use this as a trick just to charge my ult faster. People tend to shoot Primal Raging Winstons because they're big and they're in the face, so they tend to just take damage. Your orb will heal it up, charge up your ult nice and quickly. Easy Harmony orb target. And then you can just prioritize it as you see fit, but it's just generally like a good default. Oh, Primal Raging Winston, okay, I'll put an orb on him. Get your Discord orb out on someone. See the Moira, oh, and then it's like we're trying to angle for the Moira, and we just like brain fart. Because this is death. And it's like, oh, hello, Lucio. Oh, God, there's someone here. Even discounting the fact that there's just a random-ass diva over here. Can I go back a little bit further? Maybe not. People like to hang out, and especially when the enemy team is pushing out into this area. Like, you generally see like McCrees and stuff hanging out in these spaces here, shooting out at you. They see a Zenyatta just floating by, they're all going to shoot you. They're all going to shoot you. So yeah, just open space. Like, Zenyatta have severe agoraphobia. Severe agoraphobia, right? Fear of open spaces. You don't do well in those. I actually remember seeing reading a thing about someone who was agoraphobic, explaining their phobia and like how it's sort of rationalized. It isn't like a fear of the open space itself, it's a fear of the lack of ability to get to a safe space. So if something happens and you're in a big open space, you can't hide, you can't get anywhere, you can't like escape the open space. And that's where the phobia came from. And I found that like a really interesting, I don't know, I found it interesting. I'm full of fun facts. Oh, on the Winston, safer positioning, I like it. Joining the Orisa, good stuff. Leaving the, like, why are we here? Why are we here? This is a, like, this is a lesson of someone who's played Zenyatta for like 3 years and has had the paranoia beaten into them, okay? The moment you step out of a barrier, just imagine every single person on the enemy team is looking at you and wants to blow your goddamn head off, because they do, right? It is not really paranoia if they are all actually out to get you, and they are. You are Zenyatta. Lol, Ash.
Heroes never die.
Get that Discord orb out. Fuck you, Genji, we've got higher priorities. Get a Discord orb on him. Nice, good job. He's probably going to kill you because he's Doomfist. All you can do is get a Discord on him, put some orbs on him, and hope. Welcome to Doomfist. I'm sorry I can't be more use. In these situations, the moment you see the red circle, like, we commit with a jump there, and this is why probably we shouldn't be jumping here. Like, don't jump when Meteor Strike goes off. Just a good rule of thumb. Because we're committed now to this motion, which takes us into the circle, which isn't good. Isn't it aggravating to see, you know, we landed a headshot, body shot, Discord orb, and he's still on full health? That's fun, Blizzard. Thanks, Blizzard. As a fellow Zenyatta player, let me just, like, oh yeah, no, that was good counterplay available to us there.
It's high noon.
Score 2-0. Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
I believe this was this Zen in 76, I think, as well? Or is it just all Zen? Oh! Oh god, that's weird to look at. There we go. I think I remember the email saying it's Zen 76. And hey, we can actually play DPS. Oh, shocking.
Quit screwing around and get ready to move.
It's an interesting crosshair. I don't like it. Unless it is expandy. We'll see in a moment. If it doesn't expand as you shoot, I really don't like it. And I'll explain why. I don't like this crosshair because basically it covers up too much. You don't actually need more than this. Like, you don't need more than the dot, realistically. If you just want a marker of like where the middle of the screen is, it's fine. Zen right click is about 60% of the DPS of left click. 5 shots takes 2 seconds with left click, 3.6 with right click. Right click gets even worse without the full charge because of the recovery time. It's just an FYI, I just googled it. There you go. The more you know. Like, when shooting into crowds, I agree, like, left click is ideal. When shooting into a single target, I actually still like the right click. I just like the burst. I just like the fact that they can't react to it very well. And people will tend to underestimate it.
Hello there.
Weird as it sounds, okay? So, I've not seen these menus before on console, but... Weird as it sounds, you will have a much happier and much more fun loving life if you learn to not do this. Checking the profile of the enemy team, I think, is actually fine, and it's not a bad idea here and there. Checking the profile of people on your team is a good way to just end up hating your life. And also, what you'll find is, if you, for example, if we look at this person and I can't remember what they are playing, but if it turns out, oh, they're the other DPS, but they're actually a Mercy main, and you go on voice going, what the fuck, you're a Mercy main? Oh my god, you should be playing this. I really want to win this game. Play your main. Oh my god, what are you doing? And then you want to change main at a later date and someone does it to you, you'll hate that person. It's just a really shitty feeling. It's really awful. It does not have any real bearing on how the game is played. It shouldn't influence how you play too much unless you realize that your main tank isn't, strictly speaking, a main tank. And even then, you should just give people, in my experience, give people the benefit of the doubt. We are way too far out here. This is risky as balls. The reason why I say it's risky as balls is, yes, your team is playing from this forward position, but think about where we have to go to get to safety. If they have a Winston or a D.Va and they just jump at us, what happens? We die. We just die. We're just done. That's a free kill for them. We are so vulnerable out here. For what benefit? We can shoot down here, okay, but if they have a Widow that pops up here and these guys back away and we just get a head blown off, it's going to take us a good couple of seconds to get to safety. So yeah, we can do some damage here, but that's scary. Look how... If he didn't miss one of those shots, we'd be dead. And your team will be immediately on the back foot. For what benefit? For a little bit of shooty damage onto their team. You can do the same kind of damage. I'll actually go here, but you can do it from here. And you can put heal field down around this corner and just peek around this corner, shoot down, do some damage, build up a little bit of ult charge, put some fear into them. All good. Right? That's what you want to do. You want some burst damage machine. You want McCree. You want Widowmaker. You can't just blow people down. You want Genji or Junkrat, who can just escape from that position super quickly. You are Soldier. You can sprint, but if that McCree hit one more shot, we'd be dead. We'd be dead. So always be maybe it's just because I'm used to fighting against people who have... I'll occasionally, and it's not a common thing for me either, but I'll occasionally go against people who can actually fucking aim. And when that happens, you realize very quickly a lot of what you're doing is extremely dangerous. And it's that assumption, and this is something I've said in the past and I still vehemently stick to, which is, to me, the biggest difference between a high-level player and a low-level player is a low-level player assumes that the enemy will miss. A high-level player assumes the enemy will hit. And when you start making assumptions that, okay, what happens if I get shot where I'm standing? What happens if I get dove where I'm standing? And if they just go on you and you will die there, that's not a good place to be. Good place to be is this corner. We can do stuff here. Also, I didn't check. I said I was going to check. Okay, right. This crosshair doesn't even expand. Yeah, I don't like this crosshair either. I know crosshairs are a personal taste thing, but let me just state my case of why I don't think this is a good crosshair. So usually when you're using a dot... The dot is just there to give you a marker of, this is the middle of the screen, this is where my full 100% accuracy bullets is going to go. If I put this dot on someone, they should die. And the dot should be a nice visible color. Green is honestly a very good color, because green doesn't occur much in Overwatch, so it contrasts quite nicely. And you should be able to pick it out pretty easily. When you start making the circle bigger, and the dot thicker, it starts covering up things and will start just hurting your aim more than helping it. Basically, having a bigger dot doesn't help you that much. The reason why you have a circle, right? Not a boob, just so Twitch doesn't ban me. The reason why you have a circle is because the circle should be like a highlight of, okay, well, this area here, thicker, this area here is where my bullet spray is going to be, right? This is where my bullet's going to spray around. So it's like, oh, hey, yeah, all my bullets are going to be in this area. So if I have this circle on like the body of the enemy, that's where my bullets are going to be landing. If you want to make your dot more reliable, okay, no more highlight, thinner dot, there we go. If you want your dot more highlightable, that's where the crosshair comes in. And the crosshair is useful because you can then vertically align it or horizontally align it. You know that if this bit is on someone, you just have to move to the left. If the vertical alignment is correct and the bullet and the gun rises up, then you can sort of organize the dot. And this just helps to sort of stabilize the dot in your mind. It gives you like a context for how to move the dot. And that's how you sort of use the crosshair. Having a massive fat dot is just going, well, I'm just going to cover up a big part of my screen. You shouldn't need more than just the dot itself. So that's sort of why I'm not a big fan of this big, thick dot. Once played Zen against GM players, and oh my word, that's scary. Yeah. Years ago, in the first World Cup, I had to play Zenyatta in a dive meta, in Genji Tracer dive meta. And the advice that Cruz literally gave me was, yeah, Morte, who was sort of a pro player at the time, Morte plays in goddamn Africa. He just plays miles back, and honestly, because you aren't a pro and I wasn't a pro, like, what we want you to do is Harmony Orb, maybe a Discord Orb, and then just back out. Like, don't shoot, don't do anything, survive, right? Try and stay alive as best as possible, because they will go for you. They will 100% go for you, and we want them to go really out of the way to go for you. When you play against players of a high caliber, they will just nail you so consistently. And the jarring thing is realizing like all the places you thought were safe are not safe. I like us playing the high ground quite a lot here, by the way. We seem to just be doing good things. We're using mobility. I like to see us reset here. Looks like we're doing just that. We've got tac visor. We can play a little bit further back.
My ultimate is almost ready.
I love the fact that we said that. That's very good to say that into the team chat. Again, we're very far forward. Like, why are we this far forward? I don't like this. All I am is wary of the fact that, like, if they do dive on you, you could be in trouble. But D.Va just goes nuts. Okay, we've got a free D.Va.
Never die.
Maybe time to visor. Missile, nice. It's unfortunate.
Helden sterben nicht.
I've got you in my sights.
This feels kind of late to me. I'll explain why after this fight's over. Okay, this fight's over. Right, why does this feel late to me? Okay, let's think about this fight in terms of like how well it's going. D.Va just goes and feeds. D.Va trades D.Va mech for a turret. That's not a good trade. That's not a good trade.
Heroes never die.
And then we're like panicking about this Riptire. No one's pushing, taking it easy, taking it easy. Now they're pushing. Your Ryan's low. They're engaging hard. This fight is not going great for us at this point. Your main tank is probably dead, and they're pushing out. And especially once this Reinhardt commits with this charge, now's when I would tank visor. The reason why is you have then denied all of this space. Like, all of this is denied. All of this is denied and gone. So if their team, which it seems to be, is all hiding up here, right, and they're all like up through this doorway, this McCree can't do this anymore. He can't just run out here shooting at something. No one else can follow him. Their Mercy can't follow them. Their other DPS can't follow them. Right? The Junkrat can't follow them this way. And that might give time for Mercy to res someone. Right? It will probably kill the McCree. It means the Reinhardt has to back away around this corner and not do anything for a little while.
Helden sterben nicht.
got you in my sight.
And it means we'll be less flustered and less likely to fall off the high ground. It feels late to me now because, well, now you've lost bits and pieces of your team. Mercy's already used her res. They're already out and in position. We're out of position. So the Reinhardt's on the point. We can't deal with that anymore. We can't really deal with this because we're in a position where everyone's just going to shoot at us. So at most, we kill one person, maybe? We do get the sound barrier out, which honestly they didn't need to use, but hey, that's a plus. The benefits of their team having a silver Lucio.
This old dog's like a future.
Let's see if the retake comes through.
Nerf this.
It looks like it just might. Would it be nice if they had a sound barrier? Hindsight. Oh, no. Nice. They still got the res, but you traded the Mercy. That's fine. That will happen quite a lot. Don't see that as a failure. Weird thing that happened here. This, again, might be a PC thing. The thing I'm conscious about, like, that is the big difference between PC and console, is on PC, to turn around, I do this. And that takes me less than a second. On console, you have to like put the thumbstick all the way to the right, and Soldier will just like slowly go. Your sensitivity actually seems pretty good. The aim seems fine, to be honest, from what I can tell. The aim is not the problem. I think you have bigger fish to fry than the Diva. You get the DMAC, which is grand, and I'd say the moment you get this DMAC, put that Diva out your mind, because there's a freaking Reinhardt to your right. Shoot him. Kill this guy. She's not doing anything. She's just going to back out and plug it in the back, and she has like a whole 2-second animation to go through. Forget about her. Turn around and shoot that Reinhardt. You might be able to kill him. Alas, it isn't to be. Oh, they got a Bastion. I love the spicy Bastion swap.
Objective lost.
Could I spin the chair? I did spin the chair. The thing is, if I spin it too far, I just hit the desk. And everything vibrates, and you probably hear a big thum.
Let's get you back out there.
Right. Taxi for Mercy. No. Okay, good. Again, this is more of a PC thing, I suppose. When doing this with a Mercy, I tend to sprint, and I'll, like, again, this, I suppose this advice works for everybody. If you are taxiing your Mercy as like a fast-moving hero, jump and turn and check on Mercy to make sure she can follow you. Be a little bit aware that when you go around corners, she might not be able to follow you. So just always check that she's with you, because you want to sort of act as a jumping point for her to keep up with you and get her to the fight. So it's just a little bit worrying when like we take this corner kind of a little bit firmly. Just be aware that she might not be with you. And you really want her to be with you. They got a Bastion now. I believe it was the Lucio that swapped to the Bastion.
I'll show them.
Nice, I love the disengage. I don't love the lack of picking up the health pack. Okay. There's one thing on this disengage I didn't like. Just sprint. There's a health pack just there. Just pick it up. There's no reason not to. Helps your supports, helps everybody. The Diva, like, once the Divas use their thrusters, she can't really keep pace with you, so you'll be fine. And say in general, your team's handling this Bastion badly. Don't get me wrong, flanking is not a bad way to deal with Bastions, but your team is very stodgy at the moment and it's very, like, grouped up. Soldier is not great for bursting things down, especially not a Bastion. So you might get the McCree, but honestly what would happen if you did get the McCree is Mercy would res him and then nothing would change. Like, you get the Mercy res, but that's about it. Because they're playing Bastion with a Reinhardt, you just need to be slamming that Reinhardt barrier. Because your team is playing on the defense and their team is like, once the Bastion is on the payload, he's just going to be rolling forward. He's just going to be going with the payload that entire time. He has no choice about moving. So he's going to be pushing into you non-stop. If you just drill the Reinhardt barrier and grind it down, eventually the Reinhardt's going to have to drop his barrier, Bastion's going to have to get off the payload, and then your team has time to do things. And because your team is Torb and Soldier, you aren't going to like flank people, you aren't going to blow people up. You can just sort of take the barrier war and win it. And as long as your Reinhardt plays a little bit cleverly, like uses corners and just sort of picky about where he moves, you can probably get away with doing that. Helix rocket helps? Yep. Just slam those rockets into the barrier. It's kind of okay for your team. Like, you were losing that fight anyway. So them using Valkyrie and Blade is pretty good. But you have, like, now's danger. They have 4 minutes to push a little distance. I'm going to make a bet. I'm going to make a bet that this guy, the payload gets to about here. He's going to go up the stairs, drop down, visor, and try and kill everyone. And he's probably just going to die doing it. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Thank you, my friend.
This is actually what I want to see. Okay, back up, back up, back up.
Heroes never die.
Close.
Never die.
The reason why I don't like this is because it can go so horrifically wrong. Even if, like, you got to this high ground position, what is the next step? Like, let's say this McCree, for sake of argument, is not here. You run out here, and you visor, and you start shooting down at them. Well, you're kind of exposed. So, okay, they back around the corner, and then what? Do you jump down and chase them? You can't really do that, you're too close. Do you run around and drop down behind them? That'll take too long, won't work. Do you just jump back here? Well, why not just stay back here anyway where it's safe? This flank and this reposition, like, Soldier on the high ground is a great thing, but Soldier behind a barrier and with a Roadhog helping him smash a barrier is pretty good too, right? It's not going to kill people, but you will get rid of the barrier. And if the McCree does something stupid, like takes high ground and tries to Deadeye from there, you will just gun him down instantly, because he has no protection. I'm assuming we still have a Reinhardt. Yes, we do. Right? And when you have this team comp, the addition of the Roadhog is actually really nice for your team. Because now, their Reinhardt's going to lose his barrier real fucking quick. Especially if you pepper from distance. And the moment the Reinhardt's barrier is even remotely low, then you can visor, and then that's just going to push them all out and going to set them all up nicely for you to get some kills. They only have Mercy for healing. You can win a war of attrition against this. Unbelievable. Like, as weird as it sounds, going into a war of attrition against Bastion, what? Why? You can win it because they have a Reinhardt, because they can't replenish the barriers. If they had an Orisa, it would be a very different story. But because they have Reinhardt, you can overwhelm him, and then that's just going to expose the Bastion. It's just something that your team has to be playing towards, and at the moment, the way we're playing isn't playing towards that goal. We're like trying to do clever flanks, and clever flanks don't really work when the rest of the team isn't also like pulling and surrounding the team and doing all that kind of stuff. So I imagine we just lose here. Yep. So I'd say the biggest thing by far is our positioning, and this is true for Zen, this is true for Soldier, where we play as if like we're immortal, and we play as if people are not going to land shots. And you can get away with it, and like this is in plat apparently. Probably I'd say, if I had to guess, around 1600, maybe 1600, 2600. No wait, 2600 is diamond, isn't it? No, it's still plat. So yeah, around 2600, maybe 2700. Probably about 2600. I'd say much more plat gold than plat diamond. When you do start pushing into diamond, you'll start meeting people more who will land these shots, and you'll get moments like this where suddenly you're hit, and it's like she had like a split second to land that shot, or at least it feels like how did she hit that shot? I was just peeking over the barrier, but because our path was like this, and we sort of moved this way, and we even did a little jump to say hi. She was probably just looking at the Reinhardt and just saw you moving, and then the moment your head like peeked over the Rein barrier, she just hit it, and it's actually pretty easy for her to do. The best thing to do would be to get into the Reinhardt and then tuck into the corner. And that way, you're at least sort of using the safety of the Reinhardt, sticking close to him so she can't shoot over, and then sticking close to the wall. Barriers, walls, these are Zenyatta's best friends. Always assume that the enemy will land the shot, especially if they have a Hanzo, because you can guarantee it that when you are stood amongst, like, this is a team member, this is a team member, this is you, this is the main tank, This is the off tank, and then we've got like another team member over here. The moment, like, let's say that's a Reinhardt up at the front, the moment this guy drops his barrier, you can guarantee 100% that an arrow is going to come straight through and nail you in the head. And you can be back here, and it will still be the same thing. You can guarantee it's going to happen. You're going to have Transcendence, and then they go, oh, Zenyatta's dead. Dragonblade comes in, wah, everyone's dead. And then your team goes, what the fuck, Zen? Oh my god, why were you in such a stupid position? And you're like, guys, I was stood in the team. Surely this shouldn't happen. It happens. Be very, very conscious of positioning. It's 90% of what Zenyatta do. With Soldier, again, I'd say like we're taking a lot of liberties with our positioning. Like especially at the start here. Like, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. This is not a position for you. This is a position for like Genji, Tracer, Sombra. Although I think Sombra should actually start like over here and then just shoot someone and call out what the team is. Don't be here. Don't be here. Whoa. Yeah, that's a Genji voice line. Yeah, that's where I finalized. Like, just try and put yourself in the mindset that every single time you peek, someone is going to shoot you. And when you start playing like that, you'll realize, and especially using replays, and I heartily recommend looking at your replays and probably watching them from like third person, watching them from above, and just keeping track of your positioning. I imagine the amount of times you'll catch yourself, whether there's like a wall here and a wall here, and you're here. The amount of times you'll catch yourself just like aimlessly being in the middle when you could just be here, or there's like some terrain over here and you could be behind this. The amount of times you'll catch yourself just wandering around in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's not where you want to be. Never be in the middle of nowhere. That's bad. That's where Cowardly Dog lives, and we don't want to live with him because the old man is scary and bad things happen to him. Otherwise, that's going to take care of it for this episode of Coaching the Many. But don't go anywhere. We have one more VOD to look at, and so I'm going to go and look at that VOD as well, which is going to be good. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Do I still have coffee? I do not have coffee, so I'm going to make myself a drink, and I'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes' time. Bye! Bye, YouTube! Bye, YouTube! Cut VOD here. VOD cut here. Where's my intermission screen? There it is. There it is. Bye! For 1 second. Don't run. God damn it, Poppy.